Hey, this is Kevin from Scale Enterprises. We're going to show you today how I built a quick and cheap firewood rack for your backyard. Pretty much this is the large one that I built. It's 10 feet long. Both of them are pretty much made from 3/4 inch conduit and a 4x6 pressure treated piece of lumber. Through the miracle of technology, we're going to go back in time and I'm going to show you how I built this 5-foot rack here. So here's the parts list and we're going to show you how we constructed it. Okay, so now the supplies you're actually going to need for today, like we said, you're going to need a 4x6 piece of pressure treated lumber, which I already cut. This is 3/4 inch conduit, you can get it in the electrical aisle. A heavy duty drill and a 1-inch paddle bit for it to drill into the wood. And then for cutting of the conduit, I use a Sawzall, and if you're going to use that, I'd recommend a 14 tooth blade for that to cut through it rather quickly. And obviously to cut the wood, you need something to cut it, so like a compound miter saw or whatever you need to cut the wood. And so that's it for the supplies. Next we'll make the cuts. So now the first thing we did, I don't think you needed to watch me cut this, so we took our 4x6 lumber and we cut it into 20-inch lengths. So I have 2 of these 20-inch ones. So now we're going to measure to actually for the drill holes. So we're going to measure for that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to come in 1.5 inches off the one side and make a mark on both sides of the lumber here. Do that here. Do 1.5 inches over here. And then we want to get the middle. So this is 3.5. So 1 3/4 should be the middle. So that's where we're going to drill our hole. So now there and there, that's where we're going to drill. So now on the bottom half, on the 6-inch part, we're actually going to measure up from the bottom 2 1/8. Make a mark there. 2 1/8 mark around there. And then we're going to come in 3.5, make a mark there, make a mark there. Now I'm just going to extend these over so I can get them to the right spot. And that's where we're going to drill there. Now the 2 1/8 is there because underneath of that, if you have a long wood rack like we made, that a 2x4 would fit perfectly underneath the bottom, or actually where the conduit would be. So it would fit perfectly underneath there to brace it along, you know, like 16-inch increments along the way. So now what we're going to do is drill these out. Alright, so I'm going to stand on this and I'm going to try to go perfectly straight down. And we're going to do that for both sides. Alright, now we're going to drill through the thicker side. But I'm not going to go all the way through because I don't want it blasting out the other end and making a huge hole. We just see it for it to come through a little teeny bit. Now I see a hole on the other side. I'm gonna. And you want to do that on both sides also. Alright, so we've cut our top holes and our side holes all the way through. These aren't all the way through, so one thing I'm gonna do here is flip the whole thing over, measure in 1.5 inches again. Get a rough idea where the other hole is. 1.5 inches. Kind of guesstimate the middle. And I'm just going to take this is a 7/64 I think bit, just something to make a drain hole in case water gets in there. So that should reach through and get to the bigger borehole on the other side. That way if water gets in there, you can at least have a way to drain out. Alright, so we have both of ours cut, and now we're ready to cut the conduit and put this thing together. Okay, so now you have some deciding to do on how big you're going to make your rack. My first one, I used two 10-footers fully, and then I just had to cut the sides. So now for this one, I'm just making a smaller one. So I'm going to take one of these 10-footers, I'm going to cut it in half, then I'm going to have two 5-footers to use for the bottom, and then on the sides, you can use whatever you want. And my first one I made them pretty much 3 feet 3 inches, so I could take up all using. So I sliced up one 10-footer into, you know, its maximum that I could take out of it, and then I had to chop up another one. I mean, but I wouldn't go over a little bit over 3 feet, because if you go higher than that, then the amount of weight for your wood spanning outwards, it could bend a 3/4 inch pipe. I mean, you can totally redo this with thicker pipe, but I don't think you want to go by that. So I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to cut my other pipes, and then we'll assemble it, and then show you how it goes together. Alright, so after you're done, you should have 2 of these 20-inch pieces of wood cut with the holes in it, 4 side rails pretty much to hold the pieces of the wood from spilling out, and 2 bottom plates for as long as you wanted them to be for the size of your rack. And then the last thing that we need, my helper's going to bring it over here. For the top of these, bring it over, Logan. The top of these, you're not going to want to just have it be exposed metal on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill holes in the top of these pieces of these logs that we got, and then we're going to sit that right on top of there to make it like a woodsy decorative kind of cap to the whole thing. So we're going to cut those real quick, and then we'll see you over at assembly. Okay, so now these are the types of logs. I usually get a log that's at least 3 inches thick. Put it down, I figure out where it kind of lies flat. And I selected one that's around 24 inches long, so that way we can go in a little bit, and you want it to fit on the cap. If you have one smaller, it's no big deal, because the 2 side bars can actually bend in a little bit and meet it. So they're pretty much just going to try to drill halfway into this, or 3/4. Don't want to poke all the way through, because then it'll just slide down. And it'll probably be a little harder than the other lumber since it's a hardwood. So we'll do that on both sides, and then we'll be ready with our caps. Alright, so here we have all our pieces. So what we're going to pretty much do is figure out where we're going to put it. I'm going to put my small one over here. Take that one piece, put it over there. We'll take our bottom runners and insert it almost all the way through. Down there. Do the other side the same. And one thing you could do, the side rails, you could actually paint black or green or whatever to make it a little more decorative if you wanted it, to make it look nicer. I'm going to pop these in here. Shimmy them up so they also are almost coming out the end. Alright, that place, we'll put our side rails in. Now the one great thing about this is, with all these pieces, pretty much built a 10-foot rack and this 5-foot rack for under $30. And then we're going to take our top pieces, put that on there. Oh, I put it on a little too much first. I'm going to have to squeeze this to make it go in, because I have it pressed in a little bit. Put there. A little decorative touch, and that way you won't skewer yourself on the top. Put that on there. And there we go. And then with some of the excess, you can use a spare 2x4 for this, but I used our pressure treated wood. 5-foot span is kind of far for the pipe to handle that weight. So, but it'll keep the airflow underneath of it, and I'm just going to put these little blocks under here to keep it so the span's not as great to take all that pressure. So there we have it. It was pretty quick. You could probably do it in like 45 minutes. So this is Kevin from Scale Enterprises. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to go to cargocables.com for your pickup trucks, cargo management products that we sell there. Alright, thanks.
Okay.
Oh, Logan, you want to come out and buy a little helper? Come here.
Hi, Dad.
Say hi.
Hi.
Alright, see ya.